once again. So let's move on to the other game. What an electrifying and a cracking game between Italy versus Ireland. James Ryan taking the armband from Johnny Sexton, but he really marshaled this Irish troop really well.
Yeah, he did. It was a great game. It was a brilliant game. Really high skill levels as well. He had the crazy attacking from everywhere from Italy, but Ireland's just that. Again, the continuity between forwards and backs, even in open general play, the little moves, the soft touches, some brilliant try scoring as well. Some really, really good high scoring game.
Really good, and again, Ireland played with that tempo. Italy played some really good rugby as well, and it's really good to see them continuing to play and continuing to develop. It was a really good game to watch. Agree with your comment about two good games and one not so good game. So it was a really good game to watch, and Italy is just going to grow in confidence with all the good performances they're putting in.
I think with Italy, I think it's great to see them attacking rugby now. I think it's really good to see that they've definitely developed and stepped up over the last sort of year. We talked about the 20 system and how the grassroots program is working on. But I think what they now need to do to be a seriously competitive team is actually understand the game management. And actually controlling when to attack. It's great to watch, but if they want to win and they want to be taken seriously, it's maybe not the right phrase, but if they want to be respected even more and actually really become one of those top teams, which they can be, because rugby's a big sport in their country. There's a lot of money in it, there's a lot of investment in there. They're doing very well in the URC, that's getting better, but they need to understand that international rugby is not just about showboating and scoring tries from everywhere. It's also about managing it and manage the space and manage the positioning on the pitch, because I think they gave Ireland probably 2, maybe 3 tries in that game, when they probably could have just exited and cleared and been a bit more pragmatic in their approach, because they can score tries, but can they defend as well as they can score? Probably not at the moment.
40 minutes at the half time, the score was 41 points if you take both teams 17 points to 24, and that Italy's last try before the halftime, right on the dot of the halftime, came with an interception. We witnessed 3 interception tries this week, which was great to see. Talking about the Italy's, like you mentioned, Tom, they are doing a lot of work inside their 22, which is predictable. But when you do like that, when you put all your energy and effort in that first quarter, how do you go into the last 10 minutes, because not many changes coming in from the bench,
And this is, you've actually made a good point, because Italy's end to the game has actually been pretty good. Their fitness is brilliant. Like, their strength and conditioning team must be pretty happy, because there's not a real drop off, and they're putting a lot of work in, a lot of unnecessary. I think they're working too hard in the game, because trying to attack from your own goal line is hard work. It is hard, especially international rugby. It's fast paced. You're under a lot of pressure. Defence have got all the time in the world, because they can almost sit back a little bit and just soak up tackles to get all that space. So Italy, if they can, like I said before, if they can start understanding and managing where they are on the pitch, and just clear it, get it out of there. You don't want to be attacking from your red zone. You want to be attacking in the green zone, or maybe the amber zone. That's what they call it. They break down the pitch, and at the moment they're just doing way too much work. And when they do mess it up or drop it, Ireland are like, great, we're in the 22 now. Let's just go and score a try. That's what they did on 2 occasions in that first half.
And I think that's where a big difference has come on with Italy, in the fact that for most teams going over to Italy or playing them at home in the past, they knew that they would tire within the last 20 minutes or so, and so even if you were relatively close then, you knew that you'd be able to close the game out in that last 20 minutes. But it's not so easy now with Italy, and if we can see more game management, as Tom said, then they could really be one of the top teams, because there's loads of talent in that team, and loads of rugby ability. It'll be that game management development that will really take them to the next level.
You see a lot more Italians now popping up in the Premiership, in the URC, and it's definitely coming through now at international level, because they used to be just known for their scrummaging, their set piece, and you get a couple of props. The Castro Giovanni's that used to come over here, but now they've got in the back 3 some absolute stars coming through. Their centre partnerships still are very, very good. The 10's playing Harlequins. They've got a lot of strength now. Playing all over the world, but in the top leagues and teams, and not just in squads, they're actually starting. They're
Yeah.
starting for these Premiership teams. They're starting for these URC teams. So it's exciting times. I mean, they're not going to win the World Cup, but they're definitely going to push teams hard and make teams work for every single point they get.
Yeah.
Absolutely, indeed. And also, Gabisi is back. We witnessed him for like 60 minutes. It was always nice to see a left footer who starts at 10. I haven't seen many after Dan Carter in terms of holding that position, but he also played a decent game in terms of controlling. So it was looked all good for the first 60 minutes.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be a proper world-class fly half. And in fairness to Thomas O'Allen, he's played really well when he's been there. Gabisi has got the potential of helping to take Italy on, and I think he could potentially have some of that game management that possibly the other 10s haven't got. So it'll be really interesting to see now as he comes back in how Italy do play the game, especially when they're playing against more difficult teams.
Let's have a look at this in terms of analysis perspective, Tom and Mark. Now look at this image. You can see Italy players rushing. They have created the dog leg, and in terms of the second phase, there's numbers out wide for Ireland. As a result, Bundee is scoring that try.
Yeah, so it's simple. They've literally done 2 phases and obviously sucked in all the Italian defence, and then they switched it back quickly. Where obviously it's a pre-planned move. They've probably planned it 3 phases ahead, and it's literally 2 phases one way, and then a straight switch back as quick as you can, boomerang play they might call it, and call the defence napping.
And you know, Ireland will have done their work on the Italy defence and how they defend, and they would have noticed that. And as Tom said, this will be a pre-planned move. They will know that they need to set up that Italy defence in those first 2 plays, and then play it back.
And that, I think you've highlighted there. I think Ireland's analysis in the week is probably at the top level.
It is.
It's better than all the other teams at the moment. You can see the way they go into games and the plays they're running, and how on page every player is with the moves. You know they've done analysis so much. I mean,
Yeah.
Farrell will be on these guys and getting all the games clipped up. They'll look at the defence and they'll break it down into different parts of the game, and they're on it because the plays they're running that are just fantastic, and they're perfectly designed for the opposition they're playing. They'll change it every single week, these moves.
Yeah,
They have done their homework.
Yeah, oh yeah.
really.
Definitely.
James Lowe missed opportunity for the first try. He missed that opportunity, and Bundee scored that try in a similar fashion. If you can just explain what did Aki did right and what did Lowe did wrong.
It's very difficult to say because we're talking very small margins. I think it's probably Bundee's upper body strength that probably kept him just in touch and obviously kept the ball in his hand. He's a massively strong player, and not to say that James Lowe isn't, but Aki is, you know, he's really strong, and that upper body strength is what probably carried him through to score that try.
You can't go high on Aki.
No.
You go high on him, it's like hitting a brick wall. So just that strength, and just give that extra couple of seconds just to sort of give him more time to stay in field and go for the try.
But it's also always difficult to stop Aki, especially with that 5-meter channel.
Yeah.
But he did play really a good game, just despite the fact he considered that offload and it was intercepted by Italy winger. Overall, he is performing. Once you give the opportunity, he is performing. He was a lion, and just like Ollie Lawrence, for instance.
Yeah, very similar. So, I mean, Aki probably has a bit more experience at international level at the moment, but I think you need those players in your team. You know, I think England tried, or the international tried to move away from that sort of player and a bit more speed and a bit more a playmaker, but you need that big ball carrier because it just punches holes in that defence. It just punches holes in the defence, creates extra space, sucks people in. You probably need 1 or 2 players on him every single time to bring him down, and that just creates space. And sometimes even having him as a dummy runner, again, it just holds defenders in. Even if it's just for a split second, it just creates that space out wide. It gives fast guys on the outside that chance.
You know, as a defence, you've got to be honest when you've got a 12 like Lawrence or Aki coming at you, because they can punch holes. And so it does, as Tom said, it just creates that little bit more space out wide. And you know, when you do pick all running players, actually, because it's easier to defend, you actually can create less space. So, you know, Wales were really successful with Jamie Roberts at 12, with Jonathan Davis outside. You almost need that 12 who's going to just pull defenders in, so that then the space is created further out.
And he's not just a battering ram, he's actually got some very good skills.
Yeah.
Very good skills. His passing game is brilliant off both sides. He can throw the short ball, he can throw the wide ball, so you actually don't know what you're going to get, but 9 times out of 10 you're going to get a palm to the face and put on your ass. So, you know, that's the strength of him.
Now Hansel was in a brilliant form last Six Nations, including scoring a hat-trick in one of the games. Finally he was able to score 2 tries, 2 beautiful tries, as beautiful as his moustache.
Yeah. I mean, he burst into the scene. I think he's obviously originally from Australia, isn't he? And there's not much to him. He's not a big guy, but he knows his way to the try line. He's got some skills, and he's one of them guys that you think you've tackled him, and he still keeps going, and his leg drive and his work rate is brilliant. But Ireland, they're just. I mean, every player's like that. Their work rate, their technical ability, their contact skills, they're just all up there at the moment, and they're all playing so well. Let's just hope they have not peaked too soon before the World Cup, because Ireland are known to do that as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So, but at the moment, they're at the top of their game. If they can keep that going and get better, I just can't see them losing.
Yeah.
I just can't see them losing. They're on a great run at the moment, and you know, fair play to Farrell. Like he's created a team who have got a lot of confidence, who seem to be really enjoying the environment and playing some very good rugby.
And it seems to be evident that they're really enjoying the rugby that they're playing as well, which you know is always so useful, because you know that's what leads to winning teams.
Yeah, and winning becomes a habit. But so does losing. So I think you've got 2 ends of the scale at the moment with a couple of teams. You've got Ireland and France, who have probably got that mindset of like they will win at all costs, everything they do, they're on it. And then on the other side of it, you've probably got England and Wales, who are really struggling. And it's so clear and evident to see at the moment.
Can't wait till the final week on St. Patrick's Day. But talking about Andrew Potter, the Irish tight end prop, he need to control his emotion. He conceded a yellow card in the previous game, and in this game at the 54th minute he conceded a penalty, in terms of giving away kind of cardinal error. It's quite a cardinal error, but as a result of that penalty, Italy puts a penalty 3 points. It was 20-24, just 4 points different at the 54th minute.
It's props, you know, they drive me insane. It's just what happens. But no, I think, look, all players at international level, you know, at all levels, you play on the edge all the time. You play on the edge of the law, and you want to push boundaries. But it is something that they're going to highlight, because in the bigger games and the closer games, you don't want to be giving away penalties, you know, and you don't want to be giving away easy points, because Ireland will come under pressure at some point. You know, even if they're looking ahead to the World Cup, and these are the fine margins at international level in the semi-finals, the finals, where you want everyone to keep their discipline and not give away these points. So if there is areas to work on, this is probably it for Ireland. Their discipline in the tight area, in the tight parts of the game. I don't think they're going to be losing too much sleep over at the moment, but it is something they will have to highlight, especially going forward.
And talking a little bit about the analysis that they do, as well as looking at the opposition, they'll be looking at themselves as well, and this will be something that will definitely be highlighted, and they'll be, you know, working on this without doubt.
And so will other teams. They'll be like, okay, we can get under his skin and we can wind him up and we can get cheap points. And you know, teams do look at that, how to wind up the opposition, whose head can you get into, especially when you're playing against a team like Ireland, who are so strong. Any kind of chink in the armour will be used against them.
Also, Irish prop Beelum is out injured, and there's so many injuries. Sexton, of course, Ringrose. It's a real time for Andy Farrell to test his squad depth, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, and that's what it's all about, seeing what you've got underneath your starting 15, who can come in, who can just slot in and not make too much of a difference, or maybe improve the team. So yeah, look, it's rugby, right? There's always injuries, but it's about having that strength in depth and building that squad that can go forward and actually win you these championships. I mean, their target now is they want the Grand Slam, and they're only going to do that if they've got the strength in depth in multiple. You know, they need to have multiple players in every position. So if one player goes down, someone just steps in and nothing changes.
I hope he will remain fit. In case if Farrell is injured, will both will opt Smith as starting or Ford as starting?
I think we'll go forward.
Yeah.
I think he'll bring in Ford, who's a steady head, who's obviously got that experience, brings that kicking element that we know they're not going to move away from at the moment. I think they can see Ford. He's just come back from injury, and they'll want to get him in as soon as possible. Has he played a game yet? I don't think he's played.
I don't think
he's played a league game. I think he has been brought into training with England.
Yeah.
He has had a few training sessions, and they wouldn't have done that if they didn't think they were going to play him. So I can see him getting either a start on the bench or a start if Farrell's not fit.
Wonderful. In terms of Ireland, Italy, Ireland's next game, what do you think?
I can't see anybody beating Ireland.
Grand Slam?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
Yeah.
the way they're playing, and obviously we spoke about them, and we said, you know, the continuity, the way they're playing, forwards and backs linking well with each other, they're strong in every position. Their skill levels are high, their breakdown work is exceptional. Other than a couple of yellow cards, I think they're pretty flawless.
Yeah.
They're the team to beat.
And they've got England and Scotland to go. I don't think England will have the confidence to beat them. Scotland will give them a good go, but I can't see them being strong enough to beat Ireland.
Not at the moment.
No.
I think Ireland, Grand Slam for Ireland, definitely.
Wonderful. So there's still 2 weeks to go. That's quite a lot in terms of 2 weeks. We have a week break, so that's the Six Nations show on BCU Sport TV and brought to you by the Coconut Tree. And we'll see you after a week's break with the fourth week action. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Tom.
Cheers. Thank
Thanks
you
for
very
you.
much.